My name is Lisa, mother of 8 and creator of the blog and YouTube channel Farmhouse on Boone. On this podcast, I like to talk about simplifying your life so you can live out your priorities. I help you learn how to cook from scratch and decorate on a budget through this podcast and my courses, Simple Sourdough and the Simple Sewing series. I also help people reach their goals from home through my business course, YouTube Success Academy. I will leave links to these resources in the show notes and description box below. Now let's get into the show. Welcome back to the Simple Farmhouse Life podcast. Today, I'm having on Elizabeth Parsons. Now, just like some of the other interviews I've done recently, this is a repeat guest. This is the third time she's been on, and that's because she's a guest favorite. She shares over on Purely Parsons on Instagram from a former RN perspective. That was her career before. She's now a mom of 6, and so she just has a lot to share when it comes to natural remedies. She talks about her fitness journey. She talks about pregnancy, postpartum, nourishment, food, a lot of the things that you all are interested in. And coming from somebody who has a lot of experience at this point with having 6 kids, and she's been a mom a while, there's just a lot that you encounter, and there's a lot of wisdom there that she has to share. So I think you all are going to really love this interview. Cool. Well, we have very random selection of things to talk about. I think a lot of people really love hearing from you, and some of the most popular things that you have going on your Instagram range from things you do for your kids when they're sick, aging naturally, fitness, postpartum recovery. I mean, that's kind of a very broad, but I know people love to hear from you. So for those who don't know you, and you've been on the show before, and most people who are in the wellness space over on Instagram, if they're a mom, they've probably come across your content. But for those who don't, tell us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, I think this is my third time on
Is this
the
the
podcast.
third time?
So I think so. So thanks for having me. Yeah, because I think the first time we were still in Texas, and then last time we had just moved, and then I think it's the third time. So thank you for having me. Yeah. So if you don't know me, my name is Elizabeth Parsons. On Instagram, I'm Purely Parsons. And I am a mom to 6 kiddos, which is crazy. If you would have asked like 20-year-old Elizabeth, how many kids do you think you would have? I would have never said 6.
Yeah. 6 is when you're
much.
kind of like venturing into crazy land, right? Or not, just from the world's perspective, for sure.
Exactly. I think you're already there from the world's anything over 4. I feel like people think you're absolutely
6 just
nuts.
really feels like it. 5's kind of like you're sort of, yeah. I don't know.
And then 7 is just like you're off the deep end.
Yeah, fully off. At that point, don't even ask anymore.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, my husband, Noah, and I have 6 kids. We live on some acreage in the Appalachian Mountains, and we moved here actually from Texas back in 2023. And that was a big move for us, but we really love this area of the country. It's gorgeous, and just being able to just kind of enjoy nature. And we live like literally like there's a mountain range outside of our front door, and we have some cattle and some chickens. And so it's just been kind of fun to really like lean into the homestead part of that. My husband does most of the homesteading stuff. And so yeah, we've been married. We're about to celebrate 16 years, which is also crazy. And we homeschool. I'm trying to think of anything else. A lot of my Instagram is kind of a mishmash. It's, the question that you said, you got a lot of different questions, which doesn't really surprise me because I talk about a lot of different things. So parenting and motherhood and natural remedies was kind of the thing that got my account started. And then we also own a business. And so we have a wide range of natural, like essential oil based products that we sell online. And so that's been a huge learning experience. My husband came home from his like 9-to-5 job in 2022, I think. And so he's been doing the business now for a few years, and it was a learning experience for sure to like be, I was home with the kids and he would go to work, and then now we're both home all the time. And so I don't think people really talk about that a lot because, this whole like world of online even just having an online shop, but also having like the creator side of it, it's all new in the big scheme of things. And so
Right. Yes.
I don't think people talk about it a lot. And I know your husband's home with you all the time.
Yeah.
So it was a change
home for almost 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And it was such an adjustment at first.
Yes.
Like there was a lot to like, you know, because they kind of think they know what goes on at home because they're home,
Yes.
you know, after work and then in the morning. But a lot of the things that were done around the house, I don't think he really knew because you're there for 8 hours doing those things by yourself. And so it was an adjustment, but now it's great.
Yeah.
Like there's just so much that I wouldn't be able to get done
for sure.
without that
For sure.
at this point.
We're so grateful for it. Like there are so many things that would be infinitely harder, obviously, without Noah here to help with. And so we're very grateful, just that we have the ability to be able to do that. But it's also something that we worked towards, you know. It's not like we just kind of like fell into this, you know. It was a gradual journey, and we didn't get here overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just really grateful and thankful that the Lord has given us what we do here. And we know that we just kind of hold it with an open hand, and, you know, we'll see where it takes us. So
yeah, that's always how we've felt about it too. And people sometimes ask me like, well, what does he do? And I'm like, if you
what does he do?
As many children and
yeah,
like,
what does he not do?
That's exactly what do we both not do?
Exactly.
Like I can't even, I would have to like come up with like a journal of the day, but I think you'd be impressed.
Yeah, both of us for sure. Yeah, exactly. It's so true. It's like we both are doing so many things, so many different things. And like the Lord made us different in our strengths and our weaknesses for a reason.
Yeah.
As men and women, like we have, you know, differences. And yeah, it's just busy, you know, and you have 8 kids. So
it's
like
just busy.
You get it.
Yeah. Yeah, because, you know, we homeschool too. And so you do. So like we're all home, and there's just a lot there's just so much. It's just like there's not a dull moment, but there's also lovely times of like just read alouds, and there's always something going on, but sometimes it's something slow like that. So yeah,
for sure.
And it changes just season by season. Like today it's been 5 degrees all day. So that means we're not outside.
Oh my gosh. I do not miss Missouri. People may not know, but we used to live in Missouri, and I think it's lovingly called misery. I'm not really sure if that's like a well-known fact, but
we have extreme seasons.
It is
like
crazy.
It's hot in the summer, and it's cold in the winter.
Yes.
And I'm cool with the hot part.
Oh yeah.
The cold part.
No, I cannot. We moved when I was pregnant with our first daughter, and it was like it was 2013. It was like the coldest winter on record in Missouri. And I literally
remember it because my son was born in March of 2013, and we had the biggest snowstorm when he was 2 weeks old. And so it was late March, like almost April when that happened. And I remember because I had a little newborn.
Yeah. Yeah. It was rough. And yeah, you get the extremes on both ends. You know, you get really, really cold winters and really, really hot summers. And yeah, so we moved to Texas, and obviously there's really, really hot summers, but you get really, really nice winters and springs and falls. And so it was great.
Yeah.
So
if my whole family lineage didn't like settle here years and years ago, it wouldn't be this way, but
you wouldn't have chosen it.
I will be here forever. Yeah. Yep. I wouldn't choose it, but I won't move either. So it just is what it is. We have to deal.
For sure.
That's why our new house will have more than one wood stove because that makes it a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to touch on your products because you mentioned that briefly, and they are some lovely products. I put the serum on my hair today after I got out of the bathtub, and
it's
I
so
just
shiny.
Love it. It is shiny. Yeah. So what are some of your most popular products? You have some skincare too, which we're going to talk about aging naturally. So tell us about your skincare.
Totally. We have, I think it's like 25 products now. So it's a wide range. Most are essential oil based. Like I said, our passion is like kind of bucking back against the greenwashed, even like natural brands. will be greenwashed. And that's really hard to kind of, when you're first getting into more natural living and reading ingredient labels and stuff like that, you can get tricked really easily. And so we just like, we want to be so transparent about our ingredients, and like everything on our labels, you can recognize. And,
I mean, you make them there. So I'm sure there's not like weird ingredients.
No, not at all. My husband he's an engineer and by trade. And so he researches everything and sources everything and formulates everything. And all of our essential oils are organic, which is very, very intentional. Like we could really cut costs by sourcing non-organic essential oils, which is what a lot of companies do, but it's really important to us to maintain that quality. And so, yeah, we have, you said skincare. So we have a facial serum that is argan oil based. And
I love that. I need to order more because I
love it.
It doesn't.
Oh, I can send you more. I would love to send you more. I'm glad you loved it
so much. Like it just makes
simple.
my face feel so good.
Yes. And it doesn't like, it's not heavy. It like soaks into your skin really nice, and you can put makeup over it after a few minutes. And it's just like, it's the only thing I use. I love it so much. So we have that. We've got, like you said, the hair serum is probably it's like one of our customer favorites. It flies off the shelves. So that hair serum, it's so unique. When my husband first brought up the idea of doing a hair oil, I was like, that's kind of weird, but like,
not for people with certain hair types. Like
yes,
I have to have a hair serum.
Yeah. So I had never used anything, but it has changed my hair. Like my hair, I have naturally like long hair, but I don't do anything to my hair. Like I don't straighten it. I don't blow dry it. I just kind of like let it go naturally.
Kind of curly.
Yeah. It's a little bit wavy. Yeah. And so I actually have a hair mask in right now. And my scalp is just like so much healthier, and postpartum this time around, I've lost so much less hair because I do regular treatments with the hair serum. And then you can use it as like a fridge treatment too. And it smells like so good. The smell of it is just, it's so good. And yeah, so we have the facial serum, the hair serum. We've got lots of other products though. We have detox bath kits and elderberry syrup kits and a whole line of single essential oils and diffuser blends and like a lash growth serum. So it's so fun and like so hard at the same time.
Yeah.
It is just like a constant just like making product and bottling product, because we do it all in-house. And so it's just like we're touching every part of it, which is great because we can control, do like the quality control on that as well. And so it's really exciting and fun. But like I said, really, really hard work doing every part of it yourself.
Yeah. Do you have plans to expand to other products too? Like big ideas for things you're going to add?
We do. Yeah, we do. We actually, the most recent thing we released was natural spray perfumes. So a lot of perfumes on the market. I mean, we know like the conventional perfumes, they're terrible for you. They have all sorts of hormone disrupting ingredients in them, but
which is a bummer.
It is a bummer.
You want to smell good.
You do want to smell good, but you're not supposed to smell good for 12 hours straight and still be able to smell it. I shouldn't be able to smell you from like a football field away, you know?
Yeah.
And so we turned our roller fragrances, like our oil-based fragrances, which were just in rollers, to a spray version. And again, all organic. And we just released those in the fall. A lot of even, people may not know this, but a lot of even the natural brands of perfume, ooh, they're greenwashed. I'm sorry, they are.
Yeah, they still have like fragrance in them.
Well, if you go to their websites, you shouldn't be able to see the ingredient list and then have to click read more. Like it should just all be there, you know? It should just all be there. You should be able to understand it. Like no lab made chemicals go into our products. And so, yeah, that was the most recent thing that we released, which was really exciting. And so we are planning on coming out with one more of those scents. We have 3 roll-on scents. And so we're going to add the 3rd spray. And then we have some other ideas for new releases. I don't know if I can. Works. Yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to say. So I'm not going to say. But
follow along at Purely Parsons.
Yes, we're excited about all of them.
Yeah. Well, one of the topics we're going to talk about is aging naturally. And
Yeah.
what's funny to me is this is a topic I didn't even think about until probably in the last 3 years. Like, I never even noticed a single line on my face. Like, I didn't notice a line on anybody else's face. Like, it wasn't even in my, like, I was not paying attention whatsoever. But lately, people are obsessed with lines on their face. And it's interesting because it's like, I remember when somebody first said 11s to me and I was like, what are you even talking about? Like, I never even heard of that. And now we talk about like smile lines and 11s and like all these things. I'm like,
what are these? The crow's feet. And yeah.
So should I not move my face? Like, is that what we're doing now?
Just
like,
don't ever smile. Don't ever laugh.
Don't laugh. Don't like make little funny faces at your kids because it'll be set there forever and that's bad. And it's just such an interesting thing because it's just funny to me that it was not even something I ever even thought about. And now it's like forefront of mind for everybody. It's such, why is there this new obsession with aging? Like it's new, right? Like as a 39-year-old woman, I feel like this, unless I've just been very oblivious, which is also quite possible because I've never been super, like I'm one to run out without makeup. Like it's not something that I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
But even still, I know that there's a brand new obsession with it because I remember probably like maybe like 7 years ago, I was hanging out with a group of people and somebody mentioned getting Botox. And I was like, wait,
what's that?
What? Like I thought celebrities did that. Like I didn't realize regular people went and got Botox. And now, of course, I'm keenly aware that everybody gets Botox. Like that's a very normal thing to go do. But that's so new.
I don't know if it's new or if it's just that we've shifted to this consumerism where we're getting all of the information online, because before it was like you read things in a like us growing up, like our generation, we had magazines and TV ads, but like it wasn't this like instant like getting to see every single aspect of people's lives and information being shared just like readily available. And so I don't know if it's necessarily new that people are doing these things, but I think that it has become a part of our culture because of social media. And
well, I'm aware that Botox existed and all of that, but like, I don't think your average person really worried about it. Like certainly when I was 25, people weren't thinking about getting Botox. Whereas I hear now that even people who are pre-30 are like preventatively getting Botox, which is just mind-blowing. Like, and I was like, oh, that's something I'll worry about when I'm like 50. Maybe then I'll put like a cream on my face and like worry about it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the culture now.
Yeah. It's so sad. It is so sad that women are being fed the lie that you're supposed to look a certain way, like to stop aging, essentially. Like, no, you're supposed to have lines and you're supposed to have some wrinkles, and you don't have to, your forehead should have lines when you squint. And like, that's not natural. We've literally convinced 20-year-olds that they need, what is it? Like preventative Botox.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's literally injecting a toxin into your face. Like this is wild. And yeah, but you're right. It is a culture of obsession over it. I've never been like a super, like, I don't know if girly girl is the right word, but like I never wear makeup. Like I'll wear makeup like maybe once, twice a month.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I just like I don't get my hair done. I rarely like get my nails done. I just, it's just not really, and I'm not saying that in like I'm so like better than anybody else.
Like you just don't think about it.
Yeah,
like it just doesn't really cross your mind.
Yeah. It's just, and even before I had kids, I wasn't really like a girly girl. Like I just kind of, it doesn't really, I just like more natural, that's just kind of how I've always been. And so it was never like a pull for me, but I can see, these girls who see these influencers online and they look a certain way and it's like, oh, I want to look like that. What are they doing? And women are so much more open about it now. I feel like it used to be more of a taboo subject where it was like, you got Botox, but you didn't really talk about it because you just looked perfect. Like that's just kind of how you looked. But now
Right.
people are like open about it and fillers. And it's just such a normalized thing in our culture. And I think that that's just kind of a sign of our culture. It's really sad. And I want, I want girls to know that like, you're beautiful, the Lord created you, and you don't need to do anything. It's wild to me that like 12-year-olds feel like they need a skincare routine. I'm like, what?
Right. Exactly. I don't have a skincare routine. I mean, I washed my face when I was a kid, but
yeah.
a routine. I had to literally Google it in the last 5 years or so because I didn't know what people did. Like I just learned how you use a toner and like in what order you do things, because all I knew was you wash your face or you take off your makeup. But like,
yeah, like we know sleeping in makeup's not good. We know like, we should wash our face before we go to bed. But like I have daughters that are coming into this like, early, like I guess it's called tween, like before you're a teenager, but you're not really. And it's wild to me that, and I love that aspect of just kind of being able to protect them from a lot of that by homeschooling, because they don't see any of that. It's wild to me that girls their age are so concerned with that, and it's sad. And yeah.
So talk a bit about the science behind like, is Botox really that bad? Because I have been in circles that are like, it's proven to be safe. I'm like, well, a lot of things are proven to be safe, but that doesn't necessarily mean, I'm sure you get that pushback because it's too good to be true, right? Like, well, you can look 25 forever if you do this thing. So what is the problem with Botox?
It's literally a toxin. Like it's a toxin that you're injecting into your body. There's risks of everything, right? And like you see people, I mean, there's people that get like medical Botox for, migraines and stuff. That's different, I suppose, from just like a vein perspective. But I don't know. I've never really like looked into it because it's just something I would
intuitively, it seems like a bad idea.
I would never even consider doing it. But like the literal name of what's in the vial, botulinum toxin, or it's a toxin. Like, let's just use like the brains that we have. And I don't know, people are going to be offended by that, I guess, but
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously people always be offended, but I think for me, even if I could be convinced that it was totally fine, I'm probably still not going to take time to drive there and do it every 2 or 3 months or whatever it takes to prevent lines from showing up on my face, because I do not get why we're currently so obsessed with that. I don't see how. And I think, also it's like, man, if everybody does this all the time, then just to like stay looking normal, like you're gonna have to get procedures done.
Yeah, you're gonna have to like keep up that for forever, because it wears off over time, and you have to get more injections and more. And I think you even have to like increase the dosage over time. I'm not really sure, or maybe that's lip fillers. I don't know, but I just miss me with all of it. Like I don't.
Yeah. I don't want to I want my skin to look nice. Like I do the things like I've done the red light.
There's natural things
masks.
that you can do. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done the toner, the serum, like a nice moisturizer. I don't want to look
gua
like
sha, some like, I don't know. People even use like the frownies, which seems like a big hassle. I've never done that, but like,
want to convince myself to do that. But I'm also like, I'm not going to tape my dang face every night. Like, I'm just not going to do that.
No, I'm not going to do it either. But I mean, there's natural things that we can do. But I think just the general point is like, we should embrace aging, and we should see, laugh lines and smile lines as signs of wisdom and learning, and just like, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It's beautiful. And we need to not all, agree that we're not going to go down that path, because ultimately I think you're still going to age, and there is beauty in that. And I don't know, it's a whole conversation. People are gonna be like, well, where do you draw the line? Because like, will you dye your hair when it's all gray? I don't know. All I know is I think the obsession with it all is just crazy. Like it
is an
feels
obsession.
new.
Yeah. Well, and it's a heart posture thing too, right? Like, where is your heart in it? Are you trying to do these things because, you're insecure about something, or you care more about your appearance than you do about, so, there's different aspects of it for sure.
Right, taking a quick break from this episode to tell you about today's sponsor, Azure Standard. I talk about Azure Standard on here all the time because I have used them to stock my fridge, my freezer, my pantry for many years, long before I had a podcast or a YouTube channel. I found my local Azure drop, went there and watched as they unloaded the truck where I could get my hard white wheat berries that I put through my Nutri-Mill to make homemade bread, raw cheese. I remember getting dates and figs and all these things that I couldn't find locally, but I could find in a high quality organic source from Azure Standard. So it's basically a co-op model. So you and several other people in your community who also prioritize healthy organic ingredients place an order to that drop location. A big truck comes in and unloads all of your items. So you can find a drop location near you by going to AzureStandard.com. And likely there will be one already established near you because there are Azure Standard drops all over the country. There are several within, I could, within an hour radius, find tons, and I don't have to drive very far at all to get one. So it's very simple and easy. I mean, if they didn't have one in your area, you could also establish one as well. If there are a lot of people with the need to get some of these awesome organic products into an area where maybe you otherwise don't have access to them, which is a lot of small towns all across America, including mine. Azure Standard is offering Simple Farmhouse Life listeners 15% off your first order of $100 or more to a drop location with the code SIMPLE15. So head to AzureStandard.com, AzureStandard.com, and use the code SIMPLE15. Okay, so everybody's talking about red light since I brought that up. Are you doing that? I know you do sauna too. What like wellness, natural things like this are you doing?
Oh my goodness. I sauna almost every night. I love it so much. That was another thing that when my husband first mentioned it, it's been like 5 years at this point, that we've had a sauna. And I was like, are you crazy? Like, why would we get a sauna? But for him, it was part of his health journey because he had autoimmune disease. And so he was healing from that, and detoxing, sweating, having open detox pathways are a huge part of like feeling well when it comes to autoimmune. And so praise the Lord, like he's feeling so good these days. And we both sauna most nights. It is like our nighttime routine, like our wind down. So
Nice,
that is something that I definitely do. I'll do the dry brushing before, or like as soon as I get in the sauna, I'll start dry brushing. I do the castor oil packs now that I'm not pregnant anymore. So I'll put that on while I'm in the sauna. And then, yes, I do have a red light that I really love. I don't use the red light as much as I should when it comes to like just daily skin stuff, but I should. And when I do it, I'm like, oh, I should do this more because it feels really nice. I use the red light more like acutely for injuries. Like if I injure my back, or like my husband just had a foot, injury the other week and he was using it pretty much daily. And I mean, there's tons of studies if you go and look up like red light therapy for like muscle injuries, red light therapy for cellulite, even wrinkles, fine lines. Like there's lots of different studies that have been done. But I tend to use it more acutely for things like that. I've used it for clogged ducts before. I've heard women.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I've heard women use it for mastitis. Praise the Lord. Whew, I have not had, knock on wood, mastitis.
Really? Since my sister's
second,
we've all had it once.
Child.
So
yeah. It's hell.
At least once.
It is so bad.
Yeah, it is.
I don't wish mastitis on anyone. That is hard. So yeah, I love my red light and I use it often. But I think like you know, as far as like all of these tools are concerned, you know, like you take them all with a grain of salt. Like you don't need all of the things, and because there is always going to be another thing that you don't have that people are raving about
absolutely.
and talking about. And, you know, just stick to the basics, the foundations of, you know, exercise and fresh air and sunshine and good food. And just for me, it's mostly about taking things away that are adding to your toxic burden, like chemicals in your home and food that is processed and added sugars and, you know, all of these fake foods that we have available to us, nourishing your body with good food and sleep, huge, trying to decrease stress. Like, how do we do that? I'm not really sure, but you know, that's
well, maybe it's
thing.
sitting in the sauna with your red light and your castor oil.
There
and if
you
that's
go.
The case.
There you go. That's my 20, 30 minutes of decreasing stress is sitting in that sauna and just, that's my
now,
stress
is the
reliever.
sauna something, I'm assuming you can't do that while pregnant?
Sauna?
Yeah, or can you?
You speak to your OB or your,
okay.
your
so that's
midwife.
not a definitive no.
Every single OB or even midwife in America will tell you, no, you should not sauna while you're pregnant.
Because what's the temperature? I don't even know.
Well, I mean, you can set it to whatever you want. But,
okay.
You know, in these European countries that sauna is a regular part of their life. Like, yes, women are doing sauna during pregnancy. Just use your common sense. You know, I don't tell people, yeah, you can sauna while you're pregnant, because I would never tell you what to do. Like,
right.
You gotta do what you feel is best. I did sauna while I was pregnant. I stopped at a certain point. I think I didn't do it in the first trimester. And then I kind of just instinctually, like, it just wasn't very comfortable for me towards the end of my pregnancy. So I didn't really do it. And I didn't do it as hot and I didn't stay in as long. It's just like, you know, use common sense. So yeah, but no, I'm not going to sit here and say, yeah, sauna is perfectly okay when you're pregnant, because
right.
America is so like rules and yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to go there. I get it. Yeah. I don't know a ton. Like, I feel like I've been in a sauna like once in my life when, you know, you're a kid at the pool at the rec center or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, there's old men in there and you're like, should I be in here? So I've never been really in a sauna. Like, what temperature do you set it at? And the goal is to sweat, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. You should be sweating, because, you know, sweating, you're eliminating toxins and, you want to replenish, you know, that obviously, but, so the sauna that we used to have, we really preferred. We have a barrel sauna now. We've always had the traditional Swedish saunas, because there's like the, infrared saunas that are popular now, but we have like the traditional, like there's a heater in there that, it's like a dry heat sauna. So it's like the traditional cedar saunas, but we have a barrel one.
Smell.
Yes, it smells so good. So we used to set the one that we had back in Texas at like 180. But I think it depends on where the sensor is. Cause right now, the one that we have, we set it to like 100 and it is plenty warm. So I think it just kind of depends on the sauna that you have and the configuration of it. But yeah, I try to stay in for like 20 minutes and I'm sweating, and you should be sweating. And that's the dry brushing really helps the lymph, to open up and flow and, drain out. So it's great. I love it so much.
Yeah. That's kind of like, well, I know it's not at all the same benefit, but I love sitting in the bath at night. Like, I love spending.
You know, it's the same idea. If I take like a hot bath, I won't sauna that night, because you sit in the bath and if it's hot enough, you should sweat a little bit. Like, you know, you have a little bit of perspiration and there's some detoxing that happens there too. I'll put like my detox bath kit in the tub, and that's my sauna for the night. So yeah.
Okay, one of the most popular things also on your Instagram and your content is your fitness journey as a mom. And I have to be honest, I am like the worst working out person ever, but it's inspiring to watch you and your results. Why has this been important to you, and how have you handled this through pregnancies and postpartums. You've had twins. I think we forgot to mention, for those who don't follow you, you're kind of famous for not knowing you were having twins.
Yeah.
Forget that part sometimes, right? Like that was a while ago.
Surprise twins in 2020. Yeah. They were our numbers 4 and 5. So yeah, that was fun. I think we talked about that on one of the previous podcasts.
We for sure did. Yeah, I think the first one you were on, we talked about that because that was like such a fascinating story. You know, it still is.
Yeah.
It still is. But yeah, if you want to hear more about that, head back to that episode, or I'm sure you have it all over your Instagram if you scroll back a few years.
Yeah.
But yeah, through all of that, what has your fitness journey looked like?
Well, it's something that honestly, it's a struggle for me. I was never like the skinny girl growing up. I've always kind of like had like weight, what has always been an issue in my life. And then I was able to get to a really good point where I felt really comfortable, like after I got married and before we had kids. And so, that's kind of like, obviously having kids changes our bodies. And, there's things that I love about my body. Like my body has done incredible things for me and my children. It's literally grown and birthed and nourished 6 babies. And so I am grateful for that. And I think that it's okay to be grateful for your body and what it's done for you. And at the same time, leave space for, but I want it to be better. Because I think we live in a society where we are so scared of like fat shaming and like offending people, but like being obese and being overweight is not healthy. It's not healthy for yourself. It's not good for your kids. It's not good for your family. Like your spouse, like would love to see you be healthy. Like these things are not really talked about because I think they're a little bit taboo because we just want to be like, oh, you're amazing. Like it doesn't matter, but it does matter, and health matters, and our bodies are a temple and we only have one. And so, it's something that it is not easy for me to lose weight and to, I guess, quote, bounce back after having babies. It takes a lot of work for me and it takes a lot of time. But, it's not really about being skinny or being thin because I've never really been that body type. I'm broad and I'm tall. I just want to be strong and I want to feel good in my body. I want to look in the mirror and just feel confident. And I think that every woman can say that they want that. And especially after having kids, it just, it changes you. And you said you don't work out, but like, you seem like the type of woman that cares about nutrition and like, how to nourish your body. And I want to do that as well. And so it's both. It's not just working out. Like, it's 99% what you're putting into your body. And so I feel like on Instagram, I try to just kind of come at it from that angle. And I think that people appreciate the realness and the rawness of like holding space for both. Like, I love my body for what it's done, but I also want to change because I want to be the best version of myself. And I know that like being 50 pounds overweight is not the best version of myself, despite, the fact that I've had 6 babies. Like, it's just not.
Yeah.
So,
that's a taxing thing on your body.
Yes,
so it makes sense that it would be challenging.
Yeah, it is. And, I just like to kind of document that journey. And I think people like to see it because it's something that obviously like our country has a huge problem with. Like, I don't know the statistic, but a majority of our population is obese, and other countries don't have that problem. And, there's a lot of factors that go into that, but I think it's just something that's relatable, to be in a position where you want to change and doing it the quote, the hard way, not just like kind of taking the easy way out. And even now there's just like such a focus on medications, and there's, all this like hype around these new medications. And, and
that goes without saying. Obviously we want to talk about all the reasons why that's probably not the best, choice for
Yeah.
most people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I really have tried to start like working out some. I have
Hmm.
tried to be more consistent with it because I like feel like strength is what's going to be important for me as I
Exactly.
go into my
Yeah.
40s because yeah, like for me weight's not really a struggle, but you can't not use your muscles and expect that they're going to not like just decrease over time. Like that's not a realistic thing to expect and I know that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, even just walking, like starting out just walking is like great exercise, for somebody that's like, okay, well, I can't just like get up and go for a run, or I don't have like a bunch of equipment at home. Like just go on a walk. That's where I started with after I had the twins when I was postpartum, I would literally just put them in the stroller and just walk
mhm.
them up and down my driveway. And that was kind of like where I started with them. And it doesn't take much. You can you can do a lot of strength training with your body weight. You don't need a ton of equipment, just simple, just keep it simple. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's very inspiring. Now, a lot of questions about postpartum nourishment, recovery, mineral depletion, supplements, different things, beef liver, whole foods,
mm,
detox. So, what has your routine looked like now that you've had 5 pregnancies, 6 children? What has your postpartum recovery looked like? And like, what kind of things did you prioritize?
yeah. So for postpartum, the biggest thing for me postpartum, and I've done this 5 times now. I have to I have to like stop and think about that every time I say, because I have 6
Right.
kids, but
Yes.
have only been pregnant 5 times, is nourishment. We don't need all of these fancy things, like literally focus on nourishment, and having a supportive spouse is a huge part of that. Like I am in bed with the newborn and Noah literally like brings me an egg sandwich with like some sauerkraut, like nourishment, like getting your nourishment through food is huge, and focusing on whole foods and just being able to support your body in that way is a huge thing. That I mean, I talk a lot about birth in general, but like that's a whole nother topic. But in the hospital, like we need to do better for women for
Yeah.
sure. So if you can have like a meal brought, if you're in the hospital, if you can have a meal brought into you from outside that is better than what they're going to give you in the hospital, that would be great. But if not, like after you get home, just like focus on nourishment, drink lots of water. Electrolytes are great. You don't need any like fancy electrolyte powder. There are some good ones out there, but like coconut water has great minerals in it for replenishing, and you can even just add some like sea salt to your water. So just like making sure you're drinking enough water, because if you're breastfeeding, that's another huge thing.
Hmm.
I do take beef liver postpartum, and I feel like that really
Okay.
helps with restoring like iron and just the energy levels and stuff like that. I really, really think that it does help. Now, that is not a one size fits all. Obviously, people react differently to it. So, you just have to kind of take it with
Really?
your
I've never
own.
heard that. Like some people don't do well with beef liver.
Yeah, I have heard some people, they don't feel good on it. And that's fine. Like, you're your own bio individual. Like you have to figure out
Hmm.
what works for you. But that is something that I really do enjoy. And now I'm taking a specific one from Ancestral Supplements that is like a specific female optimization hormonal like blend of different organ meats. And so I really,
Hmm.
really
I've heard of
do.
that.
Yeah, I really like that. But postpartum, specifically supplements that I feel like I would never do a postpartum without would be postpartum balance. It's a little tincture from Earthly that they make. And I feel like that I only took it postpartum with the twins and now with my most recent pregnancy. And I feel like it made such a difference in my just like my overall mood and just like energy and just feeling, like I wouldn't say I've ever had postpartum depression, but like I've gotten some postpartum blues for sure. And I had surprise twins, and that was insane. And I feel like that really did help me. But overall, just like, yeah, just nourishing your body with whole foods and getting up and getting fresh air, going outside if you can, sitting in the sun, just using what God gave us, those things are really huge for me and for my mental health. Being able to, I know there's like a huge push for like the 5-5-5, like 5 in the bed, 5 around the bed.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
5 in the house, something
5 in
like
the
that.
house.
Yeah.
I could never, I would like die. Like I need to be.
Well, thanks for saying that, because we do also live in a culture, everything's on the internet. And so we're always comparing.
Yeah.
We have all these things we're supposed to do, and you're supposed to lie in. Have you heard of lying in?
Yeah.
You're supposed to sit in your bed for 30 days. I would die.
Wither away. I would be like, get me out of here.
and I think some women are, shaking their head, but like, I do think sometimes we say things are good because we're the type of person who really wants to do that. Like, have you ever seen somebody, like, a little snow will come, like, oh, guess we won't make it. And it's like, you never wanted to come. Like, I'm just saying, like, you wanted to be you're an introvert. And so it was like a good excuse. And so I do think some of the people who, and I'm not saying lying in is not a good idea. I'm sure it is. But I think that sometimes it comes from people who just like would really enjoy that, because some people would, like, they would love to just for, 30 days, just shut the world out, be in their home. They thrive. That's more of an introvert type of personality. And I would die.
Yeah, I could not. I am the type of person who is like up and walking around like day 2. Like I need to be outside in the sunshine
That's not allowed, Elizabeth.
I'm sorry. I told you I don't follow the rules. I just like, and I'm not like, outside, like walking hills and like, walking at a fast pace. Like I take it really slow and listen to my body. Obviously, like you just birthed a baby. You have like, I think what it is, like a plate sized.
That's what they tell me. The midwives are like, do not get out of bed. You have a plate sized wound in here.
Yes. And then there's truth to, you need to rest and you need to heal. There is truth to that, but there's plenty of space for that postpartum just naturally. Like you don't really have to make space for because especially if you're breastfeeding, like babies breastfeed all the time, so like you have these like natural ebbs and flows. And, when you have other kids too, to take care of, like you can't just lay in the bed all day. You just can't. I'm sorry. Like you just can't.
Well, and that's like the thing that would probably give me postpartum depression, because I try to lay in bed for 1 week. And by the end of it, I am just like,
I would be so
I cannot do this anymore. I'm depressed. I just need my life to, and I don't have to go right back into doing all the things I did before, but I need it to at least sort of feel normal. And I feel like in the past several years, I've learned that like, I'm not supposed to feel that way. And I'm not supposed to do that. And you're not really cherishing those little moments where I'm like, I still feel like I do. I just have to sort of like do other things too, because I think it's personality based for sure. Like for some people that might be the very ticket, to lay in bed like that. But
well, I feel you.
I think it's rare that especially like a natural mom will admit that, to be honest with you. Many years ago, when I was pregnant with my 5th child, I decided to add YouTube to my internet business to diversify and open up a whole world of opportunities. Many things have changed about YouTube since that day. A lot of things, honestly, have remained the same, but I love to educate students on how to create an income from home through YouTube with my YouTube Success Masterclass, which you can find over at bit.ly/farmhouse YouTube masterclass, bit.ly/farmhouse YouTube masterclass, all lowercase. There I share the mistakes that I made when I first got started, how you can achieve success faster, and how to earn a diverse and stable income from the YouTube platform. So if you are interested in using video to reach a wider audience for a business you already have, or you're just curious about what it might look like to incorporate YouTube into your life as a homemaker or a stay-at-home mom, go ahead and check out that free masterclass that I put together for you. Okay, another question we got from the audience is advice for moms dealing with anger or postpartum rage. I don't know if you ever dealt with that or how you did, if you did.
I think all moms deal with that at some point or another. Sure, there's moms who have more of a struggle and it's more of a pain point for them. I wouldn't say I'm just like naturally an angry person, but I do think that you get some like selfish satisfaction when you gripe at your kids and you even like yell and get angry because you feel like you're justified in that. But that's not scripture. Like scripture tells us to take every thought captive and make it obedient to Christ. And, you know, our children mirror what we do. And it is the most convicting thing when you have been a grump and your kids like mirror that. And as the mom, you know, especially with like moms who have husbands who go to work, as the mom, you set the tone for your house for that day. And, you know, when we wake up and we're tired, yes, these feelings are real. Like tiredness is real and hormonal imbalance is real and irritability and all of these things. It's not that they're not there, but we can take them captive. We need to ask the Lord for help. Like the difference in being in the Word and being able to, I am not able right now to have quiet time in the morning, but if I had my perfect layout, that is when I would have my quiet time, because in the years of parenting, when I have been able to do that, it makes such a difference in the day and setting the tone for the day. So if that's something you're able to do, I would really highly recommend that. But if not, even just like waking up and saying a prayer, and just kind of opening your day with bringing your day to the Lord, is huge. And so, you know, practically in the moment when you are feeling overwhelmed, I would say that is something I do struggle with, not necessarily the postpartum rage, but like overwhelm.
Yeah.
I get very, overstimulated because I have 6 children and 4 of those are boys, and boys are very overwhelming just by nature. They are very loud and they have a lot of energy. And so I do struggle with overwhelm. And there are multiple times a day where I am like outside or downstairs. Like, you guys got to get out of this area, like where I am. But, you know, practically as a mom, being able to kind of change the scenery helps a ton. So like, get outside. Everything is easier outside when you're a mom and you're overwhelmed. If you can do it outside, do it outside. And I know that as homemakers, we are drawn. I was just speaking to a friend about this. We are drawn to our home, like, because just practically, just like as a homemaker, like there's things to do inside, right? Like you have the next meal to prep, the next meal to think about. You've got the laundry. You've got just like different tasks around the house that are pulling you in. But so it can be very hard to get outside, even if it's just to go out into the front yard. Like, it can be very hard, but once you get out there, it is just, it is so much easier. So if you can get outside, do it. Obviously in the winter, that is not always, that's not always possible. I know that there's like a, you know, there's no bad weather, only bad clothing or something like that.
Unless it's 5, okay?
Unless it's 5 degrees outside. Have you tried to go outside in 5-degree weather with a 1-year-old?
For a very short time, and I hate it.
Yes,
it's horrible.
no, like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I am not a cold weather person, but like, you know, the older kids can last a little bit longer. But if you have really littles, like, they really can't last that long outside. But if the weather's nice, get outside, get some sunshine. Everybody will feel better if you can get some fresh air. If not, like, adding water always helps. So like going to the tub, taking a bath, that's always a fun activity. Even just like going to a different part of the house, having dance parties. That was something that we don't do those much anymore. I need to do those
I'll
more.
tell you why. I know why, because I discovered it.
Okay.
Do you ever get left home with just like a few kids? Like maybe Noah and a few kids go do something and you're left home. It's funny. When that happens, I instantly remember that music exists. But then when all the kids are home, you have 4 boys, I have 6.
You don't need more noise. Yeah.
Why would you do that? Like, that's why. Like,
so
we used to do it.
true.
People talk about dance parties. I'm like, huh, why
That
don't we
is
do
so
that?
true.
And then I remember every single time when I'm home with less kids than 4 or 4 or less, I remember music exists.
Music exists. And I love music. I'm the type of person that would always have like music on in the background, but I don't really do that as much anymore.
That's why.
Like it,
That's
because
why.
yeah. And you know, this is kind of a different topic, but people who are like, I don't know how you do it with 6. I could never do it with 6. Like I'm struggling with 2 kids. And it's like, you know, when I had 1 kid was hard. When I had 2 kids was hard. And 1 kid felt like a vacation. And so now
all the way up.
all the way up. It goes all the way up. You know, the Lord, you don't get 6 kids at once, like usually. Like, okay, maybe there's some instances, but like you don't get 6 kids at once. And when you have 6 kids, you know, I have older kids that are helpers or that should be helpers, you know, like you should have helpers. If you have that many kids, you should have older kids that will help. And so when you have 6 kids and if Noah takes like 3 of them, I'm like, this is 3 kids. This is so easy. But when I had 3 kids,
turn some music on.
Yeah,
you know?
Let's turn some music on and have a dance party.
Exactly.
It's too much. It's too much stimulation now, I think. Yeah. So that's funny.
It took me a while to realize it because I was like, man, when Ruth was little, and then I remember like in the kitchen doing all these dance parties. I'm like,
am I not a fun mom anymore?
Am I not a fun mom? And I'm like, wait. I think I know because I occasionally get in the situation where I have 3 or 4 kids or 5 or whatever. And then it dawns on me. Like, it's so funny how also like differently you do things when you're in a different situation. Like there have been times where like Luke will take the older 4 somewhere and I'm home with the younger 4. And like your whole day switches because you have little kids. Like you do things all different. Like we're going to, you know, center the whole day around like, you do like different activities and you make sure to get them done by nap. And then you make sure to get them done by bed. Whereas like when you have older kids, you don't really worry about those because they're not really a thing. You know, you just like switch everything based on all that. So I think it's hard when you're in different seasons trying to like compare how you do things. Cause it's like, well, I do it really different if I have that crew. Now, if I have that crew, like if I have the older 4, we can go anywhere. Like we can go out for the day. We don't worry about naps. You know, it's just very different.
Yep.
So
for sure.
And Luke and I don't know if you guys do, but we do divide and conquer. Like we'll go, you know, we'll take like the kids that would be okay to take to this certain activity where the little kids wouldn't hang. And like one of us will go and the other one won't, so that we can actually do things like that.
Yeah, we do that too. We divide and conquer all the time, even at home. Like we divide and conquer, like, especially now with our youngest, he's 1 and like, he's in that phase where he's just constantly trying to hurt himself. And like, you know, I can see the light. Like we're getting to the point where he can be like left. I can be like 10 feet away from him and feel like he's not going to like injure himself. But like, it's really intense for a few months there, you know?
Yeah.
And so even we divide and conquer even with him because we just transitioned. I know your youngest is not too much older than him, but we just transitioned to 1 nap.
Really?
So we
tried and I had to go back on it.
Oh, really? He's still taking 2?
He is. He's 18 months and I tried to go to 1, but he was so tired. And the thing is I do my work time in the afternoon. I do it 1 to 4, Monday through Thursday. And he couldn't make it to that. Yeah. And so then he wouldn't nap at all during that time, which was tricky. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And he goes down and then, so his big stretch is like on the second half of the day. And so we're just like, he is done by 7:00. Like he is like, put me to bed. I need to go to sleep. But if I put him to bed any earlier than that, like I'm waking up at 5:00 in the morning, you know? So you gotta get to that bedtime. So, so he's transitioned to 1 nap, and even at home, we divide and conquer. Like we did that with the twins. We do it,
we do it all the time.
Yeah. And you have to, in big families, you have to, and you have to involve your older kids. Your older kids need to be helpers. And if they're not, then you got to change something.
Yeah. Cause you can't handle all this.
Do it all. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's, I think it's a good thing. Sometimes people look at that as a negative thing. Well, you know, there's no way you could be doing all that yourself. Your kids must be helping. I'm like, it's true.
They do.
They are.
They do. And willingly most of the time. Like, you know, like try to take my baby away from my 11-year-old. Like she loves him,
exactly.
you know, like she loves it. So
I know that's a whole topic on it in itself, because I feel the same way. Like people will say that and I'm like, they love him. Like they take him from me. I tried to get him back.
Yeah.
Oh man, we had so many other things to talk about, but I don't want to keep you all night. But that's, you know, you share a ton over on your Instagram mostly. And, you know, there's things you do when your kids are sick, because you're coming from I didn't even mention this, but you're coming from an RN perspective. That was your career before. So you have like the medical background, but then like what you've taken from that. And then, you know, now that you're more of like a natural mom, the things that, how you approach certain illnesses. I think a lot of people follow you because it's like, okay, well, you know the medical background of this, and yet you choose to do this. And I think it's comforting for them, especially if they've never tried things like elderberry syrup or herbs and different things whenever their kids are sick. So I think that's a pillar of your content that people can find over on your Instagram. Yeah. And then like baby stuff, pregnancy stuff. Like people asked us about like morning sickness and transitioning from a wrap to naps and like picky eaters. I'm sure you have all this over on your Instagram, right?
Yeah. I mean, I talk about all of that kind of stuff. I've got tons and tons and tons and tons of highlights that I've saved over the years, pregnancy and birth and homestead stuff, and all my remedies are in a highlight, and there's tons. I have a whole highlight on fevers, and over the years, you know, it's interesting because my platform grew from talking about natural remedies. But honestly, my kids don't get sick that much. And, you know, so there's some of these things that I haven't dealt with in years. And I think just like as I don't know if it's matured in my parenting or gotten more confident in my parenting or just kind of like experienced things, like I tend to want to do less and less. When
I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's just, I like their bodies handle things so well. And, like there's things that you can do to support them, of course. But you know, that was something that I had to kind of unlearn coming from like a medical background and being a pediatric RN and like always just like wanting to treat things.
Yeah. Even if you're replacing it with something natural,
exactly.
Like moving away from even that, like always thinking you have to do something. Cause I think we do, like, that's something you learn, like, oh, sometimes you don't even have to do anything. You just have to support them while they get better.
Yeah. And I think that's something even just as a mother, like you want to do something because you want to feel like you did something.
You did something. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not even really for them. Sometimes it's just for us. Yeah. So it's interesting, the journey, and I'm still, you know, learning that too. But, yeah, I've saved so much on my Instagram and my highlights. And, I try to share just kind of,
well, it's a great resource. I think, my youngest had RSV, and you have an RSV highlight. He got, well, I thought he was like, we have the pulse ox reader, which I think like every mother should have that. That's like the best thing in the world. But I think mine was malfunctioning because I actually took him to the ER because I thought it was way lower. And then when I got there, she put it on and she's like, what are you worried about? It's 98. But I went home and I like found your RSV highlight and like did because sometimes, you know, like I'm pretty confident, and there are several, like usually I'm with you. Like I rarely have something that I'm really worried about. Like my kids don't really get sick to the point of like scary, you know, ever really. Yeah. But I went straight over to your page, went to that RSV thing. So I'm like trying to figure out like, what does Elizabeth do if her kid has RSV, you know? So there's a lot of great resources there.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of yucky stuff that has gone around this year. Like I know a lot of people have been dealing with just really bad sicknesses that have lasted for weeks. And so, I try to share helpful things over there. Most recently, I did a post on like my natural medicine cabinet, where you can comment on it and get like all of the different things that I talk about. There's things that you should have just as a mom in your toolkit, that you don't have to have you don't have to have a degree to know how
like
to work
charcoal,
a stethoscope
or like something like that. Is that an example?
Well,
like something where like,
sure. But I'm talking like you mentioned a pulse ox. That's a great tool to have. A nebulizer is a great thing to have in your toolkit.
I wish I knew how to use that. Because
Oh,
I
they're
saw that
not.
on your thing. And what I ended up doing
Yeah.
was I sat with him for hours in a steamy shower. And when I had that pulse ox thing on his finger in there,
How
it
old
was
is he?
always good. This was back in November. So he was 15 months.
Okay, that's still pretty young to be able to use a pulse ox because their fingers are
Yeah.
so little. At the hospital, they have one where they wrap around. It's like a sticky thing
Okay.
that they wrap around, and it's more accurate. But just like just being prepared is huge. You can have a stethoscope and learn how to use it. You can have an otoscope and know what you're looking at in the ear. Having these things ready at your disposal can really help you like gain confidence as a mom. I'm not saying that we never need doctors, but I can't
No,
remember the
absolutely not.
last
Yeah.
time. I can't remember the last time that I had to take my kid. Well, that's not true. I do remember the last time, but it doesn't happen
It was
very
a while
often
ago.
it doesn't happen often where we need to seek out additional medical
Yeah.
care. And that's not because I have an RN behind my name. It's because, I've learned over the years, and you just become confident in their bodies and just in your ability to care for them. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, following along with, at least if nothing else, you go to your page and you're like, okay, like I feel like I'm doing what I should do. Or there's sometimes warning signs where you're like, yeah, go to the ER, and
yeah,
it's
for sure.
great to have that resource. Okay, so Purely Parsons over on Instagram, and then your shop, I'm assuming, is linked there as well.
Yep. Shop Purely Parsons or purelyparsons.com is the website.
Cool.
So,
all right. Well, thank you so much. I know the listeners will be so happy that you were back on.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's always good to talk to you.
Thanks, as always, for listening to the Simple Farmhouse Life podcast. My husband Luke and I and our 8 kids work together side by side on our little homestead and use our blog, podcast, and YouTube channel to reach other homemakers, home cooks, and homesteaders with practical recipes in daily family life. For everyday sourdough recipes, make sure to check out our blog, farmhousehomeboon.com. And to dig deeper, we do also offer a course called Simple Sourdough over at bit.ly/farmhouse sourdough course. That's all one word, bit.ly/farmhouse sourdough course. If you're looking to learn how we earn an income online, check out my YouTube course at bit.ly/farmhouse YouTube course, all one word.